everyone, welcome to my channel. If it's your first time clicking on one of my videos, I am Nadia Mara and I hope you're all doing fine. Today's video is a very sensitive topic. I am talking about female circumcision, commonly known as FGM, female genital mutilation. I want anyone watching this video to please understand that this is my experience as a female that has undergone female circumcision. I do not support FGM in any way, shape, or form. And also, I just want you to know that this is my story, my truth. I also find it very hard to use the term mutilation, just because when you think of mutilation, it's just horrific, it's just ugly, and I don't describe myself or any part of my body as being ugly. My vagina is the most sacred part of my body, and it's what makes me a woman, so I respect myself in that sense. So female circumcision is the term that I use. Depending on your culture or what part of the world you come from, there are 4 different types of FGM that is performed. In Sierra Leone, the procedure that I had done was the type 1 FGM, which is a form of removing partial or all of the clitoris. There's also type 2, which is excision, which is partial or completely removing the clitoris and also the inner labia that covers the vagina. Type 3 is sort of extreme infibulation, which is the vagina is stretched and a seal is created to cover the opening, and sometimes it's removing all of the clitoris or not removing or partially removing the clitoris, but it's seen as the extreme type of FGM. And women that undergo that type of FGM normally have problems with their menstrual cycle. They have very painful periods. They have pain during intercourse and also during childbirth. It causes a lot of problems, so they have to have a reconstruction surgery before childbirth. I just want to talk about the fact that in Sierra Leone, when I was growing up, I didn't think there was anything wrong with what had been done to me. In Sierra Leone, we call it bondo. It's almost seen as a rite of passage into womanhood. I had my procedure at the age of 9, but my sisters and my cousin and some of my friends had had the procedure done, but I didn't know exactly what was going to be done until the day I had it done, and my mom told me, and I agreed to have it done. I was 9 years old, but fast forward to when I became pregnant with my child living in the UK, and I went for my very first antenatal appointment, and the midwife was asking me all the questions, but I could also see the posters in the room that FGM is a crime in the UK. You will get arrested and it carries a prison sentence if you were found to be doing it or you practice it with one of your kids. So she asked me the question if I had undergone FGM, and I said, yes, I am circumcised. And she said, we need to check your scar. And I said, I don't have a scar. And she said, well, we still need to have you checked out because you will have a scar. So I'm thinking to myself, what is this scar? Is it like an invisible scar? Because I've never seen a scar, in my vagina. But I waited for months and I didn't receive any sort of letter. It was when I was about 6 months and I went for another appointment at the hospital, and I mentioned to one of the nurses that I was waiting for a letter to come through to do with the fact that I have to be checked out for a scar because I have been circumcised. And then she agreed to check me out on that day to find out if I have a scar. So they took me into a different room and they explained to me the reasons why they have to check for the scar. It's because they need to prepare me to have a normal delivery. And if I do have a scar, it will be very difficult for me to have a normal delivery. So I was checked out. I think the doctor was more surprised because what they were looking for, she was completely taken aback, and she said, oh, it's a very, very mild form of FGM. You will be completely fine during delivery. And because at that point I knew I was having a girl, she asked me the question, would you have your daughter undergo FGM? And I said, absolutely not, because I don't see any reason for it. And she tapped me on my shoulder and said, a very sensible decision. At least you're sensible, And I just thought for a moment. Yeah. As a female that had a type 1 female circumcision, I have not experienced the same problems as someone who has had the type 3 or type 4 extreme form of female circumcision. I haven't had any sort of painful menstrual cycle. I haven't had pain during intercourse. And the reason why I obviously had a C-section during my birth, it's not the fact that during the birth of my daughter, it's not the fact that I couldn't give birth naturally. It's just from other complications. But for some reason, when women like myself, because there are many women like myself, when we talk and when we speak up and say, but we haven't experienced any sort of psychological problems or any physical implications to do with female circumcision, it seems as if we are supporting FGM. We are not supporting FGM. We are just speaking our truth, because there are many women like myself that feel so pressured to say there's something wrong with us. And I don't feel like there's anything wrong with me, because I haven't experienced the narrative that has been put out there to do with someone who has undergone type 2 sort of FGM or type 3 or type 4. I haven't had any sort of negative experience to do with my female circumcision. I am absolutely against any form of practice that puts the life of anyone in danger, especially when it's performed by people that do not use equipment that is sterilized. It's performed in the most unhygienic places. Some people do have blood disorders and people do lose their lives. So I am in no way supporting that procedure. I am only speaking that the type of female circumcision or FGM that I had done, I haven't had this sort of problem. When we do speak out, it may seem as if we are speaking up and supporting FGM, but that's not what it is. It's just the fact that where do we fit in this argument? You know, because in the UK, it does carry a prison sentence. In some parts of Africa, it is totally banned. But in Sierra Leone, where I am from, it's still being practiced. In the UK, labiaplasty is being done on NHS, which is medicalized. So sometimes I question, what is the difference between labiaplasty and also female circumcision? They're very similar. The only difference is the fact of consent, and also labiaplasty is done as a medical procedure. It's also seen as a cosmetic procedure. So it doesn't remove all of the female genitalia, or it's sort of repositioned. To end this video, I just want people to know that there are various forms of FGM, and every single person is different. Their experience is different, but I do not support anything that will endanger anyone's life, especially a child. Thanks for watching this video. Until next time, stay blessed and bye-bye.